Morant with a running start. Elevate! Dunks! Oh my goodness! Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn his heat. It's gone! Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining. Conley now with three. Count it! A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance. Adams going long. Morant! He hit it! Ja Morant, insanity!
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast, live in Las Vegas edition, recording from a hotel room in Las Vegas. This isn't actually live. My voice is worn out as it normally is. I'm a little bit dehydrated, living in the desert. Also, been talking all day in a noisy gym, and then later on at night in noisy casinos. But here I am to record a brief episode about all the things that have been going on, and there is a great deal of Grizzlies news to go over, and of course the Grizzlies have played a couple of Summer League games since I last recorded. So before I get into it, just a reminder, if you want to support the creation of this show, if you want to get access to my listener Slack channel, you can do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right. Let's start, I guess, with the Summer League play. Then we can get into the Cole Anthony buyout going official, the official new contract for Jaren Jackson Jr., also the breaking news of the Cam Spencer deal changing just a little bit. But the Summer Grizzlies have been playing. They lost I would say, not very exciting game, a listless game against the Celtics in their Vegas debut. Then they bounced back to come from behind and beat the Trailblazers in their second game in Vegas. The Celtics lost. I felt like the energy was a little bit low. I can credit the Celtics defense, their cohesion. I mean, the Grizzlies, the Summer League squad, they have a relatively strong starting lineup for a Summer League context, but their bench is relatively weak. And in this one, the bench didn't help you, but also you got subpar performances from your starters and your main players. The Grizzlies shot 21% from three, only 6 makes for the whole game. They had 19 turnovers to 17 assists. Gigi Jackson, who missed the Trailblazers game with illness, according to the team, he had a couple of athletic finishes like he will do, some hyper athletic plays, but it was not the quick, decisive movements from Gigi in this one. It seemed like he was dribbling a little bit more than was preferable. I do think they're trying to make sure Gigi Jackson stays in a role that will be similar to his regular season role, so they're not putting the ball in his hands a ton, but that means also the ball's in like Zion Pullin's hands more, and that isn't necessarily the best thing. This team does not have strong guard play necessarily, unless you want to call it, Jalen Wells guard, but like point guard, not really. Zion Pullin is not much of a creator. He isn't creating that many advantages for himself. Even in the Celtics game, he had 5 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. Off the bench, you had like that Aaron Estrada guy, but you know, he has G League experience and he's more of a lead ball handler, but he also finished with 0 assists. Jalen in the game, in the loss to the Celtics, he did have back-to-back threes in the third quarter as the Grizzlies showed some life, good bit of fight getting back into the game. But then the fourth quarter was really rough. They had so many turnovers in a row in the fourth as the Celtics pulled away. Cam Spencer, he always gives you that effort, but not that great of a game. He had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, had 4 turnovers, 6 fouls. He was getting a little bit chippy with Celtics draft pick Hugo Gonzalez. Overall, I would say the takeaway, talking to other people who were there, a dull game, and one where the Grizzlies, no one on the roster, you would say, exactly played that great. The Trailblazers game, a little bit more fun. Of course, the Grizzlies get the win. But I think the way that there was a late run to put that one away with a lot of good highlights, they really clamped down on defense. They were forcing turnovers. In the third quarter alone, the Grizzlies blocked 7 shots. Jalen Wells had a 19-point second half to help get that victory. Armando Bacot had a nice game, double-double with 4 blocks. Flanders Fleming off the bench was terrific. He had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and got 5 assists. All 5 of those assists came in the second half. Rewatching the game for like the fourth quarter run where you got all these Jalen Wells buckets. You got that behind-the-back pass for the dunk that was cool. I did think it was funny in this 10-0 run in the fourth quarter that like James Bouknight, former Hornets lottery pick, he was the guy defending something like 4 straight made baskets. He wasn't really up on the shooter at any moment, but it was good to see the Grizzlies get that win. Cam Spencer played pretty well, but I think maybe more interesting is just the outside of the actual basketball game stuff that was going on in arena. You had Ja Morant, who made somewhat of a surprise appearance. He was interviewed on TV. It was not the most enthusiastic of sideline interviews, but then he did speak with reporters right after. When asked about Jaren Jackson Jr.'s new contract, according to the Commercial Appeal, Ja's quote was, "He deserves it. That's the heart of Memphis, the heart of this team. I feel like he deserves it. I thought it would have been way more, honestly. I don't understand the cap stuff." Ja Morant saying, "I don't understand the cap stuff" is great. Me too, man. I don't get it either. Ja Morant, just like us, doesn't understand the cap stuff. But Ja Morant was there in person trying to be. He was saying he was there as a leader of the team. Ty Jerome was there, not officially signed yet as of this recording on July 14th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Ty Jerome was there sitting beside Zach Kleiman. Also, good job by Drew Hill spotting Alex Reese sitting behind the Grizzlies bench. Apparently he's going to join the Summer League team for the remaining 2 games or the next 2 games in Las Vegas. Now, moving on to the bigger picture stuff and the roster and the things, the domino transactions that have been falling. This is kind of big news for the Grizzlies, where the buyout with Cole Anthony was completed. Cole Anthony is going to go join the Bucks. It should be a good opportunity for Cole on Milwaukee. They are completely strapped for guard play, so he should get plenty of minutes. So the Cole Anthony buyout occurred, and that created the necessary cap space that we've been talking about forever to make the Jaren Jackson Jr. signing official. The renegotiation and extension was announced. Jaren getting a 5-year, $240 million contract. That is $217 million in new money. The mechanism to this, which we've been over a lot and remains very confusing, the Grizzlies basically, after the J. Huff trade, according to the cap experts, I'm depending on them this time. Me and Ja Morant can live in the dark on this one. But the Grizzlies needed to create about $4 million more in cap space this summer after the J. Huff trade. Cole Anthony's buyout wasn't quite enough. He was due to make $13.1 million this season. If we're subtracting the minimum contract he's going to sign on the Bucks, that subtracts something like $2.8 million. So it gets it down to a $10.3 million cap hit for the Grizzlies on Cole Anthony's dead money, which still left them a little bit short. So this is not official, but it seems to be that means the remainder on that contract, the $10.3 million, is stretched, meaning that it's paid out over the next 3 seasons. So that $10.3 million hit goes down to roughly $3.4 million, meaning they opened up plenty of cap space to give Jaren the agreed upon money. It also opened up cap space to amend the agreed upon deal, according to Shams Charania, for Cam Spencer. Initially, it had been announced that Cam Spencer was going to sign a 2-year contract. Now, He's going to sign a 4-year deal with 3 years guaranteed. Similar per year numbers, but they didn't have cap space. You're only allowed to make a minimum signing for 2 years. So by moving on from Cole Anthony, they were also able to lock down Cam Spencer for 1 more year. I do think it's worth recognizing that the resources used to re-sign Jaren, they were significant. The dead money of Cole Anthony this year, I mean, or the next 3 seasons, we're talking about spreading out $10 million or so. That is also added to the cap figure that was used to keep Jaren Jackson Jr. It's not as bad as like the Bucks, where the Bucks waived and stretched Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner, meaning the Bucks are essentially using over $50 million a season to acquire Miles Turner. But the Grizzlies, not nearly that bad. They did take Jaren's contract this season, which was roughly 15% of the cap, $23 million. They increased it to $23 million. There's also the $10 million owed to Cole Anthony. That's $20 million extra dollars being used to keep Jaren Jackson Jr. from entering free agency. I mean, $20 million, that's basically a starter's salary. So they are investing heavily in Jaren Jackson Jr. and using a lot of their resources to retain him and keep him from going into unrestricted free agency. Now, with these deals being official, the Cam Spencer news that just came out, the Jaren Jackson Jr. extension being official, the Cole Anthony buyout being official. Next up, you would guess, is going to be the Ty Jerome signing. That will be made official. Then the Jock Landale situation will be resolved. And I think that might cap sort of the biggest parts of the main roster for this offseason. Now, they still do have some decisions to make, probably with their two-way spots. I'm guessing they're combing all of Summer League, possibly looking for a big to go on a two-way spot. I think it's possible that Jemai Meshack actually ends up with a two-way spot. I don't know if the initial plan was for him to be on a two-way this season, but from talking to some people here in Vegas, they've been pleasantly surprised with how he has played, and maybe he will be deserving of that two-way spot. I won't be surprised if Zion Pullen loses his two-way spot, but then they could still add another. So let's say if they got rid of Zion Pullen, gave that two-way spot to Meshack, then you have Meshack, you had Javon Small, and maybe a third guy to be named later who fills in there. I do not think that player is on the current roster. Like, again, Baycott is good for this Summer League setting. I mean, he had a double-double and 4 blocks in the Trailblazers win. He had 15 points against the Celtics. I just don't think he's shown enough to me that he's an NBA-level contributor, but he's playing well. So maybe that is someone they look to keep. Scanning my notes here for anything else I need to hit. I guess I should recognize some of the other Summer League players. Might as well give them their time in the sun. Flanders Fleming, I would like to reemphasize, has been really good this whole Summer League. He is a little bit older, so maybe that, I don't know, hampers some of your enthusiasm. I think he's 26 years old, but he's been playing well. In the win over the Trailblazers, Tyler Burton got the start in that one. He contributed 12 points. You might say he was part of a balanced scoring attack, as the Grizzlies had 6 guys in double figures. Also, Lawson Lovering, he was one of those 6 guys. Lawson had a big first quarter and got the walk-off interview on ESPN between the first and second quarters. So congrats to that guy. That's a lot of fun right there. Final bits of news. Santi Aldama, he got married over the weekend. Also, he was named to the board of directors for the NBA Players Association Foundation, where they look for global social impact opportunities. And I guess finally, speaking of Las Vegas, I hadn't seen any title odds just online or anything, but I was in one of the sports books here and was looking at the futures, and I was a little bit surprised how long of a shot the Grizzlies are. I mean, Sometimes you guys criticize me for being low on the Grizzlies, but Vegas, the betting lines right now, very low on the Grizzlies. They are currently 125-1 to win the NBA title. Last season, they were 35-1 coming into the year to win the title. Those are the lowest title odds the Grizzlies have had since Ja Morant's second year. They are 66-1 to win the West, which puts them in the bottom third of the West. So those are not optimistic numbers from Las Vegas. The Grizzlies, they're making a big bet on Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., and they're keeping their options open. The word flexibility has been said so many times this offseason about every Grizzlies move. So there is flexibility. They have picks to move. They have a lot of depth on the wing. They got a lot of things to sort out on the wing, basically. Someone asked me what the Grizzlies' rotation is for next season, and there are some clear-cut things. You got Ja Morant, you got Jaren, you got Edie when healthy. I would guess Jalen Wells and KCP round out your starting lineup, but then you say Ty Jerome's going to play, Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to play, Santi Aldama's going to play, Brandon Clark, if healthy, is going to play. Jock Landale, I mean, he might start when Zach Edey's out to start the season. Maybe Santi Aldama starts, but Jock Landale might play sometimes. He could also get DMPs, but then that basically feels like it leaves one spot on the bench for a wing, and that's our Cedric Coward, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams Jr., Cam Spencer. Like, who's going to grab that? So that'll be interesting. It'll be something at training camp they will have to sort out if there are no other roster shakeups. But anyways, that is all for today. I'm kind of pressed on time with traveling and trying to get over to the gym for one final day. So thank you guys for listening. Remember, if you want to support my program, get some bonus content, you can do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, hope you have a great Monday. I'll talk to you soon. Go Grizz.